Okay. First of all, the anatomy of, and this is something every, what we call gym bro knows, the anatomy of every gym sort of friendship begins like this. You see someone, you don't say anything. You see someone, you don't say anything. And then one day it's first like a, and next day it's like, bro, how many sets left? And it evolves just like that. And you know, some of my greatest friendships come from the gym, and today's no exception. I've been very curious to talk about sports betting. I think everyone knows that it's become a global phenomenon, and it's rapidly taking fire in Africa and in South Africa. And there are so many dynamics about sports betting that I've been curious to explore, right? So, you know, from a psychological point of view, what are the business models and the unit economics about sports betting? How does it compare? How much revenue does it, you know, sort of contribute to the fiscus? And to flank me for this conversation is my friend Bradley Lefica. He is the head of marketing for EasyBet. And, you know, I'm going to put him in a position where he's safe to talk about the space, but also just, you know, educate us on what sports betting is, what the journey has been. And yeah, welcome to the Winners Win podcast, brother. How are you?
I'm great, and just yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I thought we would do a special handshake, but we didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
What's the typical week like for you? You're always swamped, busy?
Always swamped, busy.
Yeah.
Let's start it off with Monday. I have a 7-day week because, as you know, sports, we have what we call crash games and lucky numbers. So the biggest focus for Monday is checking what happened over the weekend. What did we do right? What can we improve on? What can we make better? And how do we better what the offering is or the package to the people?
Okay.
That's a crazy Monday. I'm typically at the office at anywhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay.
Then I'll go through everything.
AM every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And then you go through social media, you go through all your emails, you look at everything that happened over the week, especially with sports. In marketing, then you then have to look at the campaigns that you put out. What worked, what didn't work. You look at your SEOs, you line up your chats properly, because once it hits 8 o'clock and that, you know, that hammer hits the baton, it becomes hectic.
Okay.
So from that time up until, I'd say, 6, 7 p.m., that's when I say my Monday's done.
Got you.
Yeah, and then Tuesday's a bit relaxed. You go through everything, then you prep for Wednesday. Because if it's not Champions League week, Tuesday is a bit slow in sports.
Yeah.
But crash games are every day, every second, every minute.
Okay.
Then Wednesday is another hectic day because you now need to start lining up for what is coming over the weekend. Thursday relaxes a bit. Friday is another crazy one.
Yeah.
Because you have to make sure that all the posts that you put out, everything is out, all your flags, all your campaigns are ready to launch to the people. Okay. Because you don't want to miss that period between Thursday and Friday where you can reactivate your customers. All the emails are out, all the SMSs are out. Make sure that everything is running smoothly. Then Saturday, you make sure that you catch all your sports. I think that's also how I came into the sports betting industry. Okay. I'm a big sports lover. Gym is also one of them. I don't know if you would call it sports, but gym is also one of them.
It is.
Yeah, and then Sunday...
We are athletes.
Yeah, we are. And then Sunday is a bit relaxed, and then Monday starts again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I need to make a mental note to ask you what crash games are. But how did you get into? What's the journey like? How do you find yourself in sports betting as an industry? How did you get there?
Long story short, I was aspiring rugby player.
Okay.
That didn't work out, and then I found myself, you know, sitting at home and saying, I did not fulfill all the dreams my parents had for me, especially my mother. And I needed to find a way of how do I become a man? Because you go through school, you have these dreams and then you don't achieve them. Yeah. How do you then realign yourself and say, I want to make a difference, I want to make an impact? I then, funny enough, I can mention a competitor, right?
Of course. Of course.
2014. I had just recovered from my shoulder clavicle injury.
Because I was going to ask, what stopped the right feet?
Yes.
Was it an injury?
Yes. I was recovering from my clavicle injury. I went to a mall and I found a promotion setup. Promotion setup is, these activations that you find at malls where you find a group of people sitting with a table, promo items, doing an activation. So an activation is either acquisition, brand awareness, or whatever it may be. But the promotion was there, the Hollywood bets, and I spoke to the gents. I said, how do I get involved in this? I've always seen sports betting, but I've never really had the drive to take bets. But that day I said, let me ask them, how do you get involved in this? Okay. And they told me how to get involved. I applied for a vacancy as a team leader using my past experience. And I got responded to. I went for the interview. And lucky enough for me, I got the position as a team leader.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's in 2014.
Right.
That was the cusp of the online model breaking out. So online model meaning you can use your cell phone to take a bet anywhere at the comfort of your home. As long as if you have internet access, you can place a bet.
Right.
So that's when I got into it officially in 2014.
Okay. And before online, it was you have to go straight to a store.
100%. So going into a store, we realized that the demographic of people that are going to a store is between around, I'd say 35, 40 years old.
Okay.
The store was categorized as this dingy place where...
Very dingy.
Yes, you go there, it's these old sleazy people that are taking... 100%. These old sleazy guys that are taking bets that it wasn't seen as a safe space for anyone to go there. Okay. Yes, there would be a few women there and there, but they felt like they were not welcome.
Right.
But when we transitioned from the branch model, we call it a branch, it's a physical branch, you could then take bets on your phone. More and more women started getting involved. And, women, to be honest, they make the most financial decisions in our livelihood,
right.
in our households. So then they started then taking into that, and then they becoming a big part of what online and sports betting is.
By the way, that was a very serious branding problem that sports betting had.
Yes.
What was it about these branches that one looked like semi-liquor stores? I don't know why.
Yes.
Number two, they had these like, I don't know if it's a fence or something between the person taking the bet. And then they were always dark.
Yeah.
And then, they never read the McDonald's book, location.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So the reason why it was like that, right? Remember, lights, darkness, there needs to be a captivating factor. Right. So if you come in there at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. when the branch opens, it's dark. If it's 12 midday, you're not going to know it's 12 midday because it's still dark. If it's later on darker in the evening, it's still dark. So that is the model that is used. I'll give an example of Monte Casino. Okay. You walk in there, there's clouds in the sky the whole day. You don't know whether it's 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.
Anyway.
100%. It keeps you in there.
Okay.
And then another one was if you are creating an environment where you want someone to spend the whole day there. Our form of entertainment is liquor, food, and you can place your bets.
Right.
So that's why they look like that, to keep the people in the branches, for them to be able to spend the whole day instead of saying, I'm here at 8 o'clock, I'm going to take a bet. At 9 o'clock, I'm going to go somewhere else to have breakfast, take a shot of something else, and then come back. So if you had all of that in one, it then captured you, and then you could spend your day in there.
Yeah. Women, food. Sorry. So you said...
I said liquor and food.
And food.
Yes.
That's for gents.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then the other part that you touched on, the fence part.
Right.
Remember, security is a big part of South Africa. The reality, that's our reality. Mm-hmm. So that fence was there to protect the person receiving the bet and the people placing the bet. Mm. And when we believe that there's a lot of money going around, people get silly ideas.
Right.
And then not only that, it's a matter of if I place a bet on, for example, a horse, I believe that horse is going to win and it doesn't win. The frustration, the first person to take it out on is the person that took your bet. Then that was sort of a protective mechanism to say, we are protecting me and you in the same instance.
Psychologically, it's so interesting. The person that took your bet.
Yes.
Not the fact that you gave the money.
You understand?
Yeah.
So they didn't say to you, please leave your household, come to me, come take a bet. No. You left your household with a certain X amount of money in your pocket and you said, I am going to place a bet. So, yes. Yeah.
It feels like business is booming for sports betting at the moment. And I want to... So sometimes you're in an industry and you can feel the boom.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
So I want to walk you through a few stats, right?
Okay.
And as I walk through the stats, tell me if, I feel that, I see it, or I don't feel it, I don't see it, etc. Okay, so, and I'm sort of contextualizing because primarily a South African audience. I've looked at South African numbers.
Yeah.
So sports betting is one of SA's biggest earners.
Yeah.
Tell me if you feel this. So fiscal 2023 and 2024, gambling revenue hit 59.3 billion, with sports betting contributing 35.9 billion. That's 60.5%.
Yeah.
And online sports betting alone was 28.9 billion. And that's like 49% of total revenue.
Yeah.
You feel that?
We feel that because I do a lot of competitor analysis.
Okay.
Yeah. And remember the other part that a lot of stats makers leave out is that's revenue, right?
Yes.
Let me give you an example. 10 people place a bet for R1.
Right.
What's the total? 100 Rand, right?
10 people place a bet for R1.
That's 10 Rand.
$10.
Yes. From that 10 Rand or from that R1, you could potentially win 100,000.
Okay.
Right. So people are speaking about what people put in. They're not speaking about what people win.
Okay.
So if you have 10 Rand at your disposal for someone who put a R1 bet on a crash game or Aviator, for example, and then out of that 10, 5 win 100,000 Rand each, where does that money come from? So people are looking at the revenue model from that. They're not looking at the amount of money that goes in is half or a quarter of what goes out to the people.
Right.
Yes.
But then you have to differentiate between, this is turnover numbers.
Yes.
Right? Turnover means it's the total revenue to have come in. These are gross numbers, not net numbers.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Before I forget, what's the crash game? Tell me what's the crash game.
So crash game, I'll give you an example. The most popular crash game right now in the market is called Aviator.
Okay.
So Aviator is a game where you take, I don't want to say educated guess, but it's gut feeling that you place a bet and then there's an aeroplane that moves in multiples. So 0.5, 1x, 2.5 and whatever. You place a bet on when you believe the plane will reach a certain height.
Okay.
Right? Before the plane flies away, you either have to cash out or leave it for it to run to an X multiple. So that X multiple will be measured against the stake that you put in, and then that's the way you make money. So
I am predicting when the plane is going to take off.
Yes. No, when it's going to... So this is a plane, right? You start your bet at 0.
Okay.
So the plane moves like this, right?
It's in the air.
Yeah, it's in the air. So as it moves like this, you have to withdraw or cash out your money before it flies away. So flying away means it disappears from the screen.
Okay.
So it can do this, and then at 5x, fly away, or 100x, fly away, or it can fly away at 0. It literally takes off and flies away.
Okay.
So you want it to keep steady and move at a trajectory so you can cash out your X multiple that you place a bet on.
And this is something people do.
Oh, it's the biggest. So it became very popular around 2020, 2021 during COVID. Because remember, sports was limited during two. Yes. That's another segue that we can chat about and saying sportsbook became very popular, however, extremely popular during COVID. Crash games, we measured revenue in a year cycle, right? So where you have your sports running from August until May, right? That's most sports, right? So your most sports will be your popular sports, which is football. And between May and August, you had that hanging factor where sportsbook or license holders did not make a lot of revenue, whether it's gross or net.
Right.
But because of COVID, crash games became popular. And then instead of seeing a rise and a dip and then a rise, it now stabilizes because of crash games.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so it's the filler.
Yes.
In the off season.
It's now even overtaken sports. Crash games are overtaken.
Aviator is
sports.
overtaken.
Yes.
But there's multiple crash games.
Yes, there's multiple crash games. There's Skyward, there's a lot of them. There's Taxi, but the most popular is Aviator.
Okay.
Yeah.
People are making real money from this?
Yes, people making real money. The stats are there. People are millionaires from that.
There's no way.
I'm telling you, my brother.
People are millionaires from sports betting?
Yes.
Or from crash games?
From crash games. Even sports betting in general.
How predictive is it for you? Do you guys control any of it, or
No,
it's just algorithm?
Yeah, it's algorithm. We don't control any of it. Because now...
Of course you have to say that. That was your joke. I'll play.
It's an algorithm. Okay. I just want to dispel another notion where, especially because there's a chat column on Aviator, on any sportsbook platform, where people will say, give me your money, I know when it's going to fly away. And then you pay someone money, they scam you.
Yeah.
Do not believe that.
Okay.
So all of that is algorithm. There's no one who has a methodology on, I know the plane is going to fly at 5x or 2x. You can read and believe that you've got it, but it doesn't. Okay. Right? So people then pay people, they lose the money, and then they blame us to say, but this person scammed me on your platform. But you didn't take heed into the fact that no one knows it, right? And I'm not being some type of way. If I knew the algorithm, trust me, I wouldn't be in marketing.
Be out here telling you what's it.
100%. I wouldn't be in marketing.
Okay.
I would have hit my lick and I would have left.
You out. Quit your job.
Yes.
Okay, so the second stat is that the handle is massive. So full year 2022 and 2023, South Africans wagered 815 billion rand across legal gambling.
Yes.
Okay, so what they call GGR, I think that's gross gaming revenue, was 47.17 billion.
Yeah.
And betting delivered half of the industry's GGR, which was 23.7 billion.
Yeah.
And that's overtaking casinos.
Yes.
So you guys are feeling that at the moment?
Yes, we're feeling that. Like you said, a lot of people are leaving the traditional, I need to wake up in the morning, take a bath, prepare, and then go to an actual casino. Now I can do it comfort of my home.
Is there a degree of shame that is playing or associated with that?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And also, like I said, when you focus purely on casino, which is your branches, a lot of women don't want to go there and be seen as, I'm going to do this, right? But everyone wants to take a chance. Everyone wants to try. And I'll tell you a funny story. Yeah. Back in the day, there used to be what we call Fafi. I don't know if that word resonates.
Yes.
So Fafi is our elders or our grandmothers and mothers will have dreams about certain things. And then we had a booklet called The Dream Chaser. So that Dream Chaser tells you, if you dream about a cow, that will be number 5. If you dream about a car, that will be number 6. But it's a white car, that's number 7. So then they placed bets according to the numbers. Okay. So then that transformed the whole thing of, I can do this at the comfort of my home. Right. I don't have to now wake up and go to a branch to take that bet. Yeah. I can have a dream and then I can go online and place a bet.
Okay. Yeah. Was this our own sort of version of astrology? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What is it with women? You've said it twice now, so let me ask. What is it with women and the association to gambling? It's frowned upon?
A lot is frowned upon.
Okay.
Because remember, as a woman, you hold a certain prestige in society. So because of what you do, people then say, why is a woman gambling? It's seen as a traditional male thing to do. Right. So the expelled notion that we're over is that people used to believe a woman should sit at home, take care of the kids. Women are empowered right now, which is a great thing for society. And women are now doing what was called a man industry. They perfecting it and becoming better at it.
Right. Male actions.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw some stories about female gambler addicts. It was super sad.
It is.
It was it applies to both men and women.
Yeah.
But, Okay, number 3. The tax take is huge.
Massive.
So provinces collected 4 billion rand in gambling taxes in 2022 and 2023.
Yeah.
That's according to the National Gambling Board.
Yeah.
So they're raking it in.
Yeah. They are raking it in.
Number 4, bookies are multiplying. So South Africa had 326 operational bookmakers by March 2023, and that's up 23.5% year on year, with 531 bookmaker outlets nationwide.
Yeah.
Gauteng leads with 125 licensed bookmakers.
Yeah.
So it's predominantly a Gauteng
thing. Yeah, because Gauteng in the past was the easiest license to acquire.
Okay.
A bit of backstory in terms of bookmakers, right? Every province has a license issuer. So you have Western Cape, Limpopo, Northwest, Mpumalanga, Free State. All of them issue gaming licenses. Gauteng was seen as the flagship of all the licenses because they come in with a lot of games pre-approved.
Okay.
So for game manufacturers, we'll do a deep dive about it a bit later. As a game manufacturer, you need your games authorized and regulated, and then approved by a gambling board before they can go onto a website or host.
Gotcha.
So Gauteng was seen as the flagship, but right now, Western Cape in the past few years became extremely popular.
Okay.
And then Eastern Cape is now also on the rise in terms of issuing of licenses. Okay. With the number that you're speaking about, a lot of people always say, there's so much money in gaming. We call it gaming.
In gaming.
Yeah, there's so much money in gaming. I say, you have over 300 registered entities. However, the bulk of it are not operational or it's small scale. Okay. And then you have about 65, 70 that are chasing that big pie that you're speaking about.
Right.
And then another factor that people don't take into consideration is that the National Lottery is also seen as part of that revenue. So people overlook that and say, these figures that are coming here are just only for sports betting. Okay. But the lottery total includes the National Lottery.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so that's gambling tax.
Yes.
Number 5, participation is mainstream. Please remember to have that conversation about the development of games. I'm very keen to explore that.
Yes.
Participation is mainstream. A 2024 6-country survey found that 76.2% of respondents in Africa have placed a bet. Yeah. And it was a Geopol survey. Kenya, 82.8%. South Africa, 73.9%. Ghana, 73%.
Yeah.
Okay, you're seeing it sort of develop that.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah. Also remember the biggest part about it is regulation. That plays a big role in terms of the percentages of people that have taken a bet.
Okay.
Remember there is that factor of I want to make it. I think also as a businessman, you get to a point in life where you've tried everything.
Yes.
You've tried every business possible. So this is another factor of someone saying, actually, I have an extra 5 rand, I have an extra 10 rand. I can take a bet and then maybe I could be lucky.
So you're saying the hustler's final form is gambling?
Close to final form, but yes.
Okay. Football fuels or rules the slip, as it were. 76.5% of surveyed African bettors prefer football over any other option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That is true.
That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
The way it crumbles like that. However, as I aforementioned, trash games are now becoming level with
to
it.
Take the lead.
Yeah, because also with football, people believe that you have to be an avid supporter of a certain football club and you need to watch all the games. Crash games, you don't need any pre-training or previous knowledge.
Okay.
With crash games, or you just go in.
Pure luck. There's no even instinct. It's
100%,
just pure luck.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often people bet is number 7. Among those who've bet, 32% do so weekly, 17.8 at least once a day, 15.6 more than once a day. That's according to a GeoPoll 2024 survey.
Yeah.
So when you're building a piece of tech, you're trying to see the lifetime value of a customer.
Yes.
So you sort of have a metric for a customer who comes in more than once a day.
Yeah.
Once a week, once a month.
100%.
How do you increase that usage?
The frequency increase comes from you study a customer. So how you study a customer is that there's certain things that you need to report to the gambling board. Right. How much someone is placing bets. We believe in responsible gambling. That's the biggest thing that we pitch or we show to people. Responsible gambling means that if we see anomalies in a customer's usage, we have to by law report it. Okay. Because you don't want to get someone in to a point of no return. Right. So then you can see how many times in a day this person has placed a bet, how much money are they placing on those things, because you don't want to get your people in a point whereby they are overspending than what they are making. So that you can study. You can see it on their account frequency. This is also to avoid and limit fraud. This is also, it's a lot of security measures that go into place into making sure that people are not doing things that they're not supposed to do.
What is that threshold for the point of no return? How much is a person spending per day for you to say this is a red flag?
I think for us, the biggest thing would not be per day, but for people that are self-employed, for people that earn salaries. Once someone starts spending over 20% of what they earn, that's when then I believe it's a bit too much.
How do you measure that against what they earn? Because you don't have bank statements.
It has to be disclosed. So when you spend a certain amount of money, it has to be disclosed. So there's amounts that are below threshold where you don't have to disclose. You just write there, you earn a salary. But also when you win, you have to now submit your bank statements.
Cool.
So that is also to assist with people. There's this popular show that used to be on television called I Blew It.
Yes.
So that is to also help people go through the psyche, the psychology to say, you want X amount, we offer psychology, we offer this financial training and all of those things. And then for you to be able to do that, you need a person to be we need to see how you make your income. And then we also need to see your proof of address.
But if I've already won and I'm bringing my bank statements, what's the point? You can't decline.
We can't decline it.
Okay.
However, we need to see, like, how regular do you do it?
Okay.
Can you afford it? Right?
I can definitely afford it.
You can afford it 100%. But then remember, the thing about it is that we want to curb your bank statement saying you're making 100 Rand a month.
Okay.
Or a week or a day. But you are spending 1,000 Rand.
Got you.
There has to be a sacrifice that you're making somewhere that you are not fulfilling in order for you to afford that amount. So that's where we come in. Yes, you just want a large sum of money. We're submitting your bank statements. We can see that you can afford it. But this is to help you in future also.
Right.
To say, for the past X amount of months or years, you spent this much, you've won this much. But you need to keep it in check in order for it not to get to a point whereby you over-exceeding and overextending yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an actual physical limit where, so for example, I was doing some research on the lottery and I think the person told me something about you cannot spend more than 2,000 Rand on a draw or something like that.
Yeah.
If you're playing it on a banking app, it will say this far and no more. You just can't.
Yeah, it exceeds the multiplier of what you can potentially win. That's where they flag it. Not only that, is to, like I say, to limit people from doing things that they're not supposed to.
Say that again, it exceeds the multiplier of what I can win. So if I start off with a bet of $100 and my multiplier is 10, I shouldn't be spending 1,000 Rand.
No, because now remember there's a pot. In the lottery, for example, there's a pot. So this weekend, the amount that is preset is 100 million, right? If 62 million people, South Africans place a bet, right? Everyone has to win their share of that 100 million.
Right.
So if everyone is placing a bet over 10,000,
Everyone that picks the numbers correctly.
yes.
Okay.
Because now you never know which numbers are coming out because it's taken as if everyone can potentially place a bet on the winning numbers. So we don't preset it to say, we know 10 people are going to win. No. Everyone has a potential of winning that takes a bet.
Got you.
So now the multipliers has to make sense. So if 62 million people are placing bet for 10,000 rand and 62 million people win, from that 100 million, what is the share?
Got you.
So you can't exceed your multiplier.
Got you.
Yeah.
Number 8, region-wide size. The Middle East and Africa sports betting market generated $2.8 billion in 2024 and is projected to grow by a CAGR of 8.3% between 2025 and 2030, with South Africa expected to be the fastest growing market.
Yeah.
What's the risk of being the fastest growing market?
The crash is tough.
Okay.
The crash, what I mean is, if you become the fastest growing market, we are a South African company, 100% South African owned. There's huge opportunity for American and Europe-based companies. So if you're becoming the fastest growing market, it's easier for them to come into South Africa. Hence, you see the 300 plus registered legal betting entities. They come into South Africa with the pound and the dollar. By that, you can't compete against that, especially in marketing spend.
For sure.
So then it oversaturates the market at a faster rate that it could be or it was projected. So that then leaves the pie to be shared way smaller than it should be. So hence, if I say, if you're growing exponentially, then it becomes a problem in itself.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. It becomes the risk.
Yes.
SA's growth clip, year on year, sports betting revenue jumped 51%, 2023, 2024. By far the fastest growing segment, just generally.
Yeah.
All right. And then number 10 is that casinos are still big, but fading in market share. So in 2022 and 23, casino turnover was 299 billion rand. Yeah. That's 36.7% of turnover. Yet betting still took the largest share of GGR. And that's sort of underscoring the shift towards sportsbooks.
Yeah.
What do you think casinos do in this thing? How do you get people to come to a casino to enjoy sports betting? How do you pivot?
I think maybe I shouldn't give away the secrets because
I saw that coming.
Sports betting. However, I think on a lighter note, I'd say casinos, for example, in the US, offer a lifestyle instead of making it about betting. Right. So the moment you offer a full circle of you can come in and do this and do this and do this, instead of focusing on you just come in and you place a bet, they can regenerate themselves. South Africa has a lot of dry land. Dry land, I mean, is land that is not used for anything. We can build our own Vegas. There's ample of space in the Northern Cape that is not used for anything. There's a lot of land where casinos can come together and say, this is the amount of money we have. Let's build a mini Vegas in South Africa. That will be a lot of revenue for the government that could be used or be put to good use.
Got you.
So I believe that stop making it about you coming here to take a bet, but make it about the experience.
Okay.
You walk into MGM Arena, it has everything. You don't want to leave because you feel the vibe, you feel the energy. Yeah. That's what it should be about. But if you're just purely focusing on the one-hander, you come in or you go to a blackjack table or baccarat, you don't care about what the experience is, you lose a lot of market share.
Got you. Yeah. Got you. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about some foundational stuff. So walk me through like I'm 12.
Yeah.
One, who actually makes the book, right? Yeah. And, you know, is it algorithms, live data feeds, and then how you sort of, you know, create that book? How does that happen?
So a book is created through algorithm by game makers.
Okay.
So game makers are people that create the stats of multipliers in odds, right? So let's take football, for instance, right?
Sorry, I didn't understand that. Game makers are people who make the stats in multipliers and odds.
Yeah. Right. So for example, right, you are a game maker. So a game maker is the person, for example, in Crash Games. Scribe owns Aviator. So they are the game makers. So they made the game Aviator and made it popular. So for example, let's look at Sportsbook, right? Shout out to United. My heart is still sore.
Let's go.
So for example, right, odds are calculated by multipliers, taking prehistoric data of win percentages, right? So we look at a Liverpool, right? So Liverpool is playing against West Ham. Prehistoric data says Liverpool has a 70% chance of winning, right? And then West Ham, 30% chance of winning. According to the stats, if you place a bet on Liverpool to win, your return is lower than if you placed a bet on West Ham to win. Because the prehistoric data shows you that Liverpool is going to win the game.
Right.
So that's how odds are created. That's how a book is created. So then all the data feeds into the system where someone can log in and take a bet. Yeah.
Favorites versus underdogs.
Yes. That's why people then say, taking 100 rand and placing a bet on favorites, you make money, but you make less if you take 10 rand and put it into the underdogs. Yeah, your return of investment is higher on underdogs than on favorites.
Yeah.
What's
your thoughts on poly market? You've heard of poly market?
Yes.
What do you make of it?
I believe it's a double-edged sword for the industry. Yeah, because now remember it takes a bit of time in order for you to get your returns back. So, but it's part of business. It's a strategy that people use, but it's not really, I would say, the biggest point in terms of what Sportsbook is about.
Right. My understanding of poly market, for anyone who doesn't know poly market allows anyone to bet on the outcomes of anything, basically. So, when is the interest rate going to be cut? By how many points? And all sorts of things. It sounds like that's a lot more profitable than just normal sports, or not yet.
It is.
When is the minister going to get fired, for example?
It is, but it requires more knowledge than sports betting.
Got you.
Yeah. It is, but it requires a bit of studying, a bit of, being online all the time.
Yeah, you can't have a single algorithm because there's just so many things you're trying.
There's so many things that take into effect that need to fall into place for something to then go in your favor.
Yeah. Do you think, does sports betting change the game itself? And let's talk about football, for example.
It did.
Okay.
It did. I would say positively also and negatively also. We can chat a bit about it, right? I think for me, the biggest part about before regulation was big, sports betting was used as a way of, I would say, match fixing. But right now, to match fix, it's one of the hardest things you can ever do, even if it's possible.
What's changed?
Regulation, right? So for example, for us to be able to place a bet on the Prem or La Liga or Bundesliga, there's a lot of regulation that goes into studying the owners, the players, and making sure that people are not just, placing bets on themselves and winning.
Yeah.
Right. So regulation is very important. People overlook that, but regulation is extremely important. It's a chat that you and I had the other day, is that you don't wake up and say, I have a team that is playing in my local neighborhood. I want to put them or get them listed on the platform, and I want people to take a bet on them. Those people, number one, are not professional, meaning they could be easily swayed at any moment, at any time. Someone can go to that person and then give them $1 amount or a rand amount, and then they can sway the game in your favor.
Right.
So regulation is extremely important because we make sure that we avoid match fixing and all of those things.
Right.
And the positive side is that people overlook it. However, sports betting has played a significant role in sponsorship.
Yes.
That's another factor that people overlook. And then you look at, let's take a recent tournament that happened or that took place a few months ago, which was the Club World Cup.
Yes.
A lot of the clubs had betting companies that were sponsoring them that made that possible. Because now people think sports betting is about, I place a bet, I lose money, the house wins, or I place a bet and I win and then I'm happy. There's a lot of work that goes in the background that goes into the partnerships. Salaries are being paid by sponsorships. The marketing for clubs and making them profitable are done by a lot of, betting companies. So that's an element that people are overlooking. I'm going to give a typical example in South African football, right? Betway put a large chunk of money into sponsoring the Premier League, which is potentially one of the biggest leagues in Africa.
Wow.
It's top X in the world. So the PSL was I'd say they were not really struggling, but there needed to be change for teams to get better money. Or, there's, I don't want to say stipends, but there's grants that are paid to clubs on a monthly basis.
Right.
Yeah, by the Premier League themselves. So when Betway came in and offered that amount, clubs could then see that there's potential to be profitable.
Tell us, brother, how much did they offer?
I think the numbers are online. I don't want to, speak about figures that I was not part of negotiating, but it was online.
Okay.
And I'd say, you look at a club that, comes from the second division. The owner is doing fairly all right for themselves. But for you to compete against the Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns, those people need to be professionals. Back in the day, you'd find that there were a handful of professional clubs playing in a league of 12 or 16.
Right.
That person goes to work in the morning, in the evening they go to training, and you expect them to give you a full hard-fought 90 minutes on a Friday, a Saturday, or Sunday. And it was not easy. But now clubs are ran professionally because of sponsorship. Clubs are ran professionally because of, betting companies coming into effect and say, we will put up this amount in order to sustain the league. Not even a single individual club, right. The actual league itself. Yeah.
But don't you have a qualitative problem with some of the teams in the league where you don't really get, okay, let me perhaps phrase it this way.
Yeah.
You have a league with 20 teams.
Yeah.
About 5 to 6 teams can fill up a stadium.
Yeah.
And the rest do not.
Yeah.
How do you measure, that ROI? One, from a betting point of view, because the audience is not there to bet on that team.
So there's two matrices, or there's two examples that I need to put into effect, right? There's a campaign that we are trying to do that we want to go into, right? Clubs in South Africa, football clubs in South Africa, need to build brands before they build football clubs. So once you build a brand, it's easy for people to fill up the stadium.
Okay.
If you do not have a brand, people not fall in love with that. And when I say brand, I mean, I want to know, what is my favorite player doing?
You want the story.
Yes. I want to know, where can I buy the merch? Right? That's why you've seen there's a new shift in terms of development of clubs are having villages where you can go there, watch the guys train, you can buy merch, you can buy memorabilia from your favorite players.
That's dope.
The European players are very good at that because they own the actual stadiums for where they play.
Yes.
In South Africa, not yet, because to sustain and maintain a stadium costs a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Even the monthly rentals, not even monthly rentals, the game rentals for you to move a game from Soccer City to Mpumalanga at Mbombela or Cape Town Stadium, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So clubs becoming brands, it makes it easier for them to say, this is our home base, this is our home ground. We can then be able to sell merch and becomes profitable for us to be able to host any and everything that we want at the venue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about sort of if you think about growth and profitability, what are the 3 sports codes that if you only had access to, or you could only pick 3, what are your top 3 sports codes that you would put on a platform, on a betting platform?
Football.
Right. And football means, so you're not just focused on South Africa, you mean global football?
Global football. Okay. Yeah. Football. UFC. It used to be boxing, but UFC. And the reason why I'm saying UFC is because, Dana and them are doing a great job in terms of frequency is very important. Frequency is very important. If you have one every quarter, there's nothing to it.
There's no traction.
Yeah, there's no traction. Yes, your biggest fighters can fight once every 3 to 6 months, but having something or a fight card every month or every 2 weeks brings a lot of revenue.
Okay.
In order, I would say 1, football, 2nd would be horse racing, number 3 would be the UFC.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Horse racing is a big chunk.
Please tell me about horse racer.
Horse racing is very interesting. The reason why I say that is because horse racing, races happen at any time, at anywhere. There's a lot of race courses in and around the world. That dingy part that we were speaking about of people in the branches, they predominantly the screens that are playing is horse. So the screens are playing horse racing event at different venues, right? Tilfontein in South Africa, there's a lot. In Dubai, there's a lot. In Thailand, there's a lot. So there's a lot of places where horse racing is bigger and popular than football.
Okay.
However, the bets are more taken legally in football than in horse
racing.
Yeah.
What is the ecosystem of horse racing? So there's a horse, there's the owner.
Yeah.
There's the jockey.
Yeah.
And
there's a stable.
Right.
So let's start it like this. The jockey is the person who is on the horse, cantering with the horse. Then you have the owner. Okay. So the owner is the person who owns the horse. Then you have a stable. So a stable is, I would have 10 horses competing in Durban July, or 2 or 3, whatever the amount, right? And then you have the actual funders that own the actual stable, right? There's the people that are passionate about grooming, training horses, but they don't have the funds or facilities. Then you have people that have the actual funds that have a pride of ownership. I just want to own something, but I don't have the knowledge. Right. So you can sponsor a stable, and then your horses could be legally commissioned to be able to take part in races. There's like a qualification method. Like you look at if you want to run the Commonwealth or the Comrades, there's races that you need to run in order for you to qualify. Even with horse racing, it's the same thing. There's breeders that breed the horses that sell them premium. My brother, we're not doing enough. You understand? So then those horses get trained, and when they get trained, they then run certain races to qualify for the big, the Kentucky Derby, which is one of the biggest and most popular in the world. So,
and so where is the integrity leak in horse racing?
So the integrity league, there's a board that sits together.
Yeah.
Right? For example, there's certain things, that's just like athletes, for example, right? You can't expect X, who is a natural athlete, to go and compete against X, who's not a natural athlete.
Right.
The competition is not fair. So there's a board that sits that horses go through training, they go through testing, literally, to say this horse has been tested for the past 2 or 3 years or 6 months. It can legally now run in organized races.
Okay.
Yeah.
The person who does, maybe let me phrase it this way.
Yeah.
The person who does what you said are the deals underground.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that a bookie? Is that...
It's a bookie.
It's a bookie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So remember, bookies provide the odds in the beginning. Bookies used to provide odds.
Okay.
So bookies will go to 100 stables and say, I watched 20 horses per stable.
Okay.
And these are the 3 favorites per stable.
Okay.
And then put the odds to say this will potentially win.
Okay.
And then people then place bets on those from the bookies. It's data. It's information that you collect.
Okay.
These days it's done easier because there's video footage, there's everything in place. But back in the days, to become a bookie, you literally had to go per stable, take the data, put it together, calculate it, and then create the odds, and then feed it to a system. Then people can place bets there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A friend of mine is he's the head of the biggest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that their biggest advertising revenue now comes from sports betting platforms. Without giving away too many of your secrets,
Yes.
what's the marketing playbook, right? So what is the thing that shifts me from, so think of me as a non-gambler. You're trying to convert me into a gambler.
Yeah.
It shifts me into one, signing up, first deposits, recurring plays, etc., etc. What channels do you use?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
So there's a term that I coined.
And this is actually your specialty in business. And
yeah. So there's a phrase that I coined back in the day where I say, in marketing, the basic principle is out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
Yeah. So if you can't see me, what would take me to the point of saying I want to take a bet then? Right. So the market shifting or changing, I would say a punter. So a punter is a person who takes a bet from X to Y is a basic principle that we use, which is making sure that your odds are very good. Number 2, your payout platforms are quick and instant. Number 3, people need to know that you are legal. Number 4, people need to see you.
Do people care if you're legal?
Yes, they care.
Okay.
Back in the day, they didn't care until a lot of people started getting scammed.
I see.
But then these days, people care. That's why any platform that is legally registered, if you go to the bottom, there is a gambling board that commissions that bookie. So it will say either Northern Cape with the license number that you can go to the Northern Cape Gambling Board, input that number, you see if they verified or not. Whether it says Western Cape, Mpumalanga, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and all those put together.
Okay.
So that's very important. Okay. So when you say gambling or gaming has become the biggest spenders, is because everyone is competing for a pie, right? There are over 300, as you mentioned, that are legally registered. And there are about 65, 70 that are doing proper marketing in order to reach the audience that they want to reach. So you can only legally gamble in South Africa when you are 18. So the pie is very small. People think the pie is massive, but the pie is very small. You have your avid gamers or gamblers who have been with one single company for years, and that's their focus. Okay. And then you have the ones that are turning 18 that you want to sway. But remember, people want to win the most. I want to put the least amount of effort, the least amount of money in order for me to win the most.
Right.
So if my odds are good enough, I can then pay you the most.
Cool.
And this is done like this. Like I said, it's a secret, but it's not really a secret.
Right.
A company that has 5 million active users has to lower their odds because there's potential of 5 million people winning. A company that's 100,000 increases their odds because there's 100,000 people that could win. That's literally how it's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So odds are increased to drive growth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
So first thing is consideration. And so the first ad you hit me with is a digital ad.
Yes.
Are there any platforms you're not allowed or you're banned from advertising on?
Not really. There are strict measures from Meta. Meta is very strict. You have to confirm that you're legally registered. There's a lot of loopholes that they make you jump because Meta said we care about the individual before anything else.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying the other ones do not care.
Right.
However, Meta then makes it very difficult. A lot of, even when you are legally registered, there's certain things you can't say that they will flag your video for.
Okay.
Whether it's, on WhatsApp, also TikTok is very strict and stuff. There's certain things that you can't say that you can advertise, but there's ways of going around it. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
So remember, the biggest thing is the minute you make something accessible to people without confirming their age, it's very, it needs to be extremely controlled.
High risk.
100%. So that's why we sponsor a lot of influencers, which is very touchy. We sponsor a lot of podcasts. We sponsor a lot of channels. However, for you to be fed the ad, you need to have registered an account to say you are legally 18, and then you can receive those ads.
Yeah. Let's talk about the touchy thing in a bit. But okay, so you've gotten me to consider your platform, and I'm considering on the basis that the multiplier is a lot more. All right, cool. Then you get me through the gates.
Yes.
How do you get me to spend more?
So the other one is usability of your platform.
Okay. That's a product thing.
Yes, that's the product. So if your platform or user interface is very difficult for people to understand and things are not a click of a button or a touch of a button away, people will not stay on your platform. Okay. I need to log in and find this is easy to access. This is easy for me to cash out. I can see when I've won. I don't have to go through loopholes. Then people will stay.
Okay.
Right. The other factor is the potential to win. Okay. There's a risk element for every human being to say, I placed a bet on 5 numbers and 3 came out and I won from my 10 Rand, 50 Rand.
Okay.
If I come back, maybe I could get 4 or 5, whatever it might be, depending on the multiplier, of course.
Okay.
So that's how you get people to stay on your
So do you create an environment where I can, you know how when you launch a product, every founder has that thing. How do you get your user to the magic moment?
Yes.
That's your magic.
That's the magic moment.
Okay. A quick win.
A quick win. And not only a quick win, right? We offer, I'm going to go into easy bet a bit. So we offer your sign-up bonus is 50 Rand. So literally for you just signing up, you get a good bonus. We offer also multipliers in terms of your deposits match. We're also very good at that. And not only that, there's a 15% return of your losses every Tuesday from your sports bet. So now if you play...
There's a 15% return on my losses.
Yeah. So let's say you place a bet for 100 Rand on Saturday for X club to beat X club, white club, and it doesn't happen for 100 Rand. On Tuesday, you get 15% of that money back, which you can put back into trying your luck again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your customer acquisition cost is quite hefty, or is the margin meets the... Okay, so let's say...
It's quite hefty.
No, you're making the money. So if you spent to acquire me, let's say my click-through rate was $30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You now giving me a sign-up bonus of $50.
Rand.
That's $80.
Yeah.
You're also giving me 15% back in my losses. So let's say I spend $100, that's another 15 Rand that you're putting back into my pocket.
Yes. We also offer 25 free spins. From the 50 Rand, you get an additional 25 free spins.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another cost. So that you cannot attach a figure to it, because if I have 25 free spins, on my second spin, I win something.
Right.
Do you understand? That's a loss to us also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Me winning is a loss to you. That's terrible. But I hear you.
It's a big loss.
Okay, so if a customer acquisition cost is about, let's say it's $100 round number.
Yeah.
What's the typical lifetime value of a customer over a month?
So it's categorized into, are you a bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly?
Okay.
Right. So for us to earn that money back that we've given you, like let's say the 100 Rand that we spent on getting you, you need to roll over that amount between, I'd say, 4 to 6x.
Okay.
For us to say this is potentially going to make money or is making money for us.
Okay.
Because now remember, we also take into consideration the taxes that we pay. We marketing, like you said. For sure. So it's a big role in salaries.
Okay.
So that's also another big thing. People overlook the platform, right? There is one provider in the industry in South Africa that owns their own platform,
right?
Which is Hollywood Bets. They own their own betting platform called Six, which was formerly under Bet Games Africa. They acquired that, or BetSoft, right? So everyone else is white labeling off a software provider.
Okay.
I can mention a few. Sure. Artfark, WA Technology, Softwares, Bet1, so Izuri. So those are the biggest in the industry that offer you a platform. So a platform would be when you register, you're registering on a platform. And then when you white label, you choose your own color, you choose your own theme. You can dictate where do you want to put sports betting. When you log in, do you want sports betting, or do you want cash games, or do you want casino games? Mm-hmm. Which league do you want to be at the top? Do you want it to be the league of that country, or do you want it to be the Premier League in England, which is the biggest?
Okay.
So they allow you those opportunities to do that. But you also have to pay taxes for those, right? You have to pay a hosting fee, right? There's a percentage that they take every time someone takes a bet on the platform. They assist you with hosting, right? The biggest mistake you can ever make is you work with an operator that has one tower for hosting in one specific country, because you never want to be offline.
The tower is like a data center?
Yeah, it's a data center. So you do not want to have one person that says, our towers are based in South Africa, for instance, and that's the only primary place that so you need to be in a lot of different countries. So it costs them a lot of money. So that's why it also costs a bit of money in order for you to have a software.
There's three questions as you're speaking that are still rolling in my head. The first was around, you said it earlier.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you your thoughts around, betting companies having their brands on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
For sports.
Yeah.
What are the optics on that?
Let's speak in South African context, right? We'll also go to Europe a bit in the Premier League, right? The optics are, there's a fee that you need to pay in order for you to be on the t-shirt, front of shirt or sleeve, whatever it might be, right? However, people believe or think that the minute EasyBet advertises on a certain club, we own that club or we can influence the outcome of the odds because you're on that club.
Yes.
It doesn't work like that. Why? Because that specific match or game, that specific team can be placed odds on a competitor's platform. For example, EasyBet advertises on a Kaizer Chiefs jersey, or Orlando Pirates, or Sundowns, or Golden Arrows, or whoever.
Right.
There are 300 competitors that have that game specifically on a platform. If we, as I'd say as a bettor, or if me as a competitor of X platform I know that you can influence the outcome of a game, I will not have that game on my platform. Because I know you can influence it and I can lose money.
Right.
We don't do that. So that's why I'm saying people believe that if a betting partner is on a t-shirt of a X club, they have an influence. They don't have an influence.
Okay.
That is to market, to build trust and credibility for the brand using that specific club.
Yeah. Have there been any scandals in recent history that sort of...
No. There hasn't been any in the recent, because it's highly regulated. Okay. Remember, it's extremely regulated. And the reason why it has to be extremely regulated is because there's a lot of competitors at play, right? An example, front of shirt that we were talking about, the Prem in Europe was saying, in England was saying, 2024, 2025 was the last year a betting company can advertise front of shirt. That was to reduce the rate at which betting was growing in England, right? But then the image rights are so lucrative for clubs to exist. Forget anything else. For a club to be able to pay salaries and all of those put together, the image rights for a brand to be on front of shirts made sense for them to say, we could put it off for a bit longer because now you're getting a bottom of the log club competing with a top of the table club, but they're giving them competition because they're buying quality players now. They can afford to put meals. They can afford to have good training facilities. So that is why it's very important.
Got you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about influencers.
Yes.
What's been your experience, and then what's been the market reality where you link, influencers to betting platforms?
So the biggest notion that we had to dispel when we started using influencers was, remember, we are paying for their reach. Right? We are not paying them to say or do certain things that is against what we believe in. Right? So back in the days, an influencer campaign looked like this. I pay you X amount and I'm going to tell you what to do, where to do it, what not to do, and how not to do it. Right? And it started being differentiated because now there's a lot more influencers in the industries. There's a lot of competition, right? As a brand, we just work on a partnership that works for both parties, that's mutually beneficial, right? There's a brief that you need to follow, for sure, right? However, we personally, we've gotten to a point whereby we make people immerse themselves in the brand. So immersing
before they start promoting it.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I want you to be able to say things that you know and understand. So I don't just, what is your rate? You give me a rate, we pay the rate, and then we send you a brief, you do it. No, we want you to immerse yourself in the brand, right? You register an account, you go through how easy it is or how difficult it is. if you have a say in certain things, we look at them and say, okay, we can potentially change that because it's been a notion of, or a peeve point where people have mentioned it and you want to change it. Then from then, we sit and we say, the primary is to get people on our platform. Right. So it has to be tasteful. You don't want to do distasteful marketing where you force feed. People these days can read through anything. Right. People can see that that's a paid campaign. You don't even know what you're talking about. So we try and make it as authentic as possible.
Right.
We sponsor the platform, not the content. Right. That's very important. When I say content, I mean what you say on your platform is up to you. Right. But you have to be responsible. That's the only thing.
Okay.
So people coming up and saying, no, but you sponsored so-and-so and they said this. No. We sponsored the platform because of your reach, not what you...
You can't... I hear you. I think it makes logical sense.
Yes.
But nothing in marketing is logical.
100%.
So you can't disconnect...
From the reality.
From the reality
100%.
Or from the association even.
Yes.
To say we sponsored the platform and not the message.
100%.
Okay.
However, there's ways of going about it in terms of understanding that the reality is that. However, there's a point or reference where you said, we believe and understand that this is how things are supposed to go, but people are human beings.
Right.
People have their own thought process. The reason why television is no longer as popular as podcasts or YouTube, to name a platform, is because people have free will and their own thoughts, right? So on television is scripted from good morning, how are you?
Right.
To goodbye, that's the end of the show, right? Podcasts are different, right? It's an engagement, it's a conversation. So you saying you are sponsoring the content means after every recording of a podcast, if it's not live, you have to sit together with a team of content producers to go through every line that was said there.
Sure.
And then flag it, remove it, or say, no, but you can phrase this better, right? Then you have to re-record that because the sponsor said this, right? Then it makes it very distasteful. It becomes robotic.
Right.
Then it goes back to why people left television to become or go into the space of influencing and podcast. So that is the primary thing. Okay. Yes, you can't dissociate yourself from it. However, that's the reality.
For sure.
To say, we don't sit down and say, the podcast was about this. We're going to go through every detail before it flies. That's why you see a lot of apology statements, because people are looking for something authentic.
Okay.
If we write a script, things become boring.
What are they apologizing for?
What was said. For example, if I'm a sponsor of an episode that you flighted, and there are certain things that was said that we do not believe in, as a company, rightfully so, we would have to now either one, take a decision to come out and apologize. And the good thing about it is that these days, we also, there's a disclaimer to say my views are not views of the sponsors.
Right.
That needs to be said and made, available for people to understand. So then the apologizing element of factor comes from this was said and we do not believe in those words that were uttered. However, that was the episode we were on, unfortunately or fortunately.
Got you.
So that's where the apologizing element comes into.
So your outlook on the use of influencers, given what's happened recently, even,
yeah.
What's your outlook?
My outlook is that influencers, I believe, have, I don't want to say accountability, right? As a human being, when you're given a brief for a project, you need to go through it and see if it aligns or if it makes sense, right? You don't put yourself in a situation where, as an influencer, you're going through campaigns where there's a lot of backlash potentially that could arise from it. As a human being, first, before influencer, before sponsors, before anything,
for sure.
Look at what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Do your homework. That's very key. If you do not do your homework, you find yourself in a puddle of mud trying to get water and air and there's nothing there.
Gotcha.
Right. So make sure that you go through your briefs correctly. Make sure that you do background checks and study on companies that you're working with. That way you limit your risk. There is no such thing as zero risk, but you limit it by doing research on your stuff, right? So that's very key and very important.
Gotcha. What's the association with sort of gaming and crypto? What's your position on that as an industry, if you have one, and then as a platform, if
so? Crypto, I think a lot of people, it became very popular, died out, and then it's coming back again, right? Mm-hmm. Because crypto for me, it's another form of exchange, right? Instead of looking at actual capital, right? So people say this thing of like, if you have your money in crypto, it's safer than it being in the bank. There's people that have that notion, right? Crypto is part of the evolving industry. We can't shy away from it. We can't run away from it. It's eventually going to catch up. It's still very, I'd say, low in South Africa at the moment, because now remember, you need a partner that is in remittance that's going to receive the crypto, convert it into actual currency, that then feeds it into the system, place a bet. If someone wins, it converts it back into crypto. Okay. It's a growing industry that we cannot shy away from. And very soon it will be very popular in terms of operation in the gaming industry. Okay. And the association is highly there. It's just a matter of it's coming in stages, right? And not to put, I'd say, connotations around it. However, certain people will tell you, I don't want people to see that I am taking my bank account and depositing it into a betting account. However, I can use crypto, right? Because it's not really, I don't want to say traceable.
Well, the rails are off.
The rails, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys don't have crypto integrations?
At the current moment, it's no.
Okay.
However, we are working towards crypto integration because you can't run away from it forever. It will be the primary, at some point, form of exchange.
If you launched a purely crypto gaming platform, do you still need a license?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, the license is needed to operate. It's not really about your currency exchange.
Okay.
So you need it because now you need to be regulated. That's very important. So remember, the gambling boards, they need to make revenue and then your taxes need to be paid.
Okay.
So that's why you need to be regulated and registered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gaming is what you sort of call a red ocean. There are so many players.
Yeah.
Etc. It still feels like there's going to be a lot more.
Yes.
And it doesn't change. Like every other day you see someone who's put a number bet.
Yeah.
Someone who has one bet. The other guy has two bet. 26 bet.
Yes.
Why is that? Why is it so? Why does it feel like it's so easy to launch? And I'm talking about perception.
Yeah. So remember, the perception comes from survival of the fittest.
Okay.
Right? Animal form.
Right.
Some animals are more than others.
Equal than others.
100%.
Yeah.
So South Africa has one of the most stable economies in Africa.
Right.
You can look at it however, right? So it's easier for a European or American entity to come to South Africa, launch a betting platform because the regulation allows for it and our taxes are very good versus other countries in the rest of Africa. And it's much easier to do business, essentially, in South Africa. So that's why it looks like almost every other day or every other week there's a new one coming up. And not only that, right? Remember, there's a stat that you put up to say there's over 300 registered legal entities.
Yes.
So these companies have been registered for years, but they're not operational because of the capital. So a company that comes in and says it costs X, let's say it costs $100,000 to start and operate your betting platform or gaming platform or sportsbook. $100,000 in South Africa is X19 or X21 to the pound. So for them, when they come in South Africa, it's so much easier, so much cheaper.
Right.
You understand? So that's why it feels like there are so many betting companies that are spewing up or spawning in the middle of nowhere. However, it's just, and you find that their license was registered in 2010 or it was registered in 2000 and whatever, 15, but they knew. How did they do that? is because they're buying existing licenses and then growing those to become big role players in the industry.
In closing, if I am an entrepreneur with aspirations to launch a sportsbook or a platform, talk to me about license. How hard is it? Capital all in, et cetera, to get a license. What does it cost to get a license?
To get a license, right? The biggest thing that when you get a license, getting a license and applying for it is very easy and it's very accessible. However, certain gambling boards put you through a process of a tendering process where we gazette the license and say this license is available, people can apply for it, you apply. The application process is easy. Acquiring it and sustaining and maintaining it is where the big part is, right? Because of the software, because of the taxes, because of you need to have X amount of float.
Sorry, I don't want to lose that. You said it's easy to get a license.
It's easy to apply.
To apply for a license.
Acquiring it's a different story.
Okay.
So getting it in your name or in your company name is very different because you need to have... So back in the days, licenses were introduced to try eliminate the illegal gambling that was happening in our neighborhoods, especially local communities, right? Informal settlements mostly, right? So licenses were made easier to acquire, especially because there's so much money that you spoke about. And South Africa is predominantly black country, right? So it was made easier for people of color to acquire the licenses, right? Maintaining it and paying the monthly taxes is where the part or the tricky part is. Right? Marketing is your biggest spend because if people don't know who you are, they don't see you, they're not going to associate themselves with you, right? So,
sorry, are you saying that maintaining it is about keeping the business operational?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
So you need to have float. Float is you apply for a license, right? There's a pre-approval stage. So, okay, cool, you've been pre-approved for this license and your company checks out and then it comes a second stage. Second stage is float. Float means you and I launch a sportsbook company tomorrow.
Cash reserves.
Yes, right? And then...
Because suddenly someone wins a 10x and...
someone wins 2 million, right? Someone wins 20 million.
We shut it down.
And 100%. The gambling boards needs to know that you will be able to afford that. So they need to...
How much float should a person or a business...
Realistically, I would say, to be fair, I would say you're looking anywhere between 10 and 15 M to be safe. That's to launch, not to maintain it.
And what runway is that 10 and 15? How long does that last?
Not long.
Yeah.
Not long. The reason why I say not long is you launch a sportsbook today, right? After you launch it today, you have 10 people on your platform that register, right? That's why you would see, they would say max payout 10 million, 20 million, or 5 million, or 3 million. That's to limit losing all your float. So remember, people forget one thing. Numbers are very important in gambling or gaming, right? You launch today, you have 10 people on your platform, someone hits 2 million, right? Remember, you have 10 people. They either spend 10,000 or 100,000 Rand each. It does not cover for the 2 million. 3 days later or 5 days later, someone wins 1 million, right?
Remember, 3 bar down with 12 users.
100%. With 12 users, not even 50 or 10 users, literally. So crash games and lucky numbers, there's a draw almost every other second, right?
Okay. So that's the cash cow.
Yes. There's a draw every second. And your minimum bet is 2 Rand. That's why I say you can place a bet for 2 Rand and potentially win 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, depending on the multiplier. But the people placing bets does not equal that. So you need to have actual float in order to make payouts to your customers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then the cost of the white label, how much is that?
So those taxes range depending on who's your provider. But you're looking at anything around, depending on volume also, right? So if you're white labeling and your platform has fewer numbers or fewer people, maintenance is not that high. Okay. It's a plug and play. They literally give you something and then you just change the color only. You don't do placements, you don't do anything. It ranges anything between 25 to 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
those are monthly costs. Those are not once-off costs. So remember when you white label, You have your monthly cost that you need to pay for people to make sure that your site is on all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the monthly costs? So there's a license fee.
There's a license fee that you pay.
Okay. Is there a fee for the license itself? I mean, there's a license fee for the platform.
Yes.
For the white label platform.
Yes.
Is there a fee for the license itself?
Yes, because license fee is paid to the software provider.
Yeah.
So those are the ones I spoke about, Artfark,
Okay.
W Technologies, and all of those, right? License, you pay to the gambling board. So if you got your license from Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Gauteng, whoever, those are the licenses that you pay. Then you need to pay tax to the taxman because the business that's operating, right? So you have these three costs that you can't run away from, regardless of what you do.
So if we did a quick P&L on a gambling business, you have one line of revenue, which is the betting money.
100%.
No advertising.
No.
Okay. So
There's no advertising fee because now you need to pay for advertising on other people's platforms.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not getting any advertising revenue. And then your gross is what? So on the top line revenue, what's the first deduction?
Your first deduction is software.
Okay.
Right. So because if you don't pay the software, they can shut it down.
Software and licensing.
Yes. Software and licensing because now you're white labeling what they have.
Okay.
So that's your first cost. So before anything, that cost is covered.
Okay.
Right. Number two is your license provider, which is the province that you got your license from. That's number two on the list. That person needs to be paid. Number three is your game provider. So I can own a license for a software, but not be a game provider. Other people plug into my platform. So you and I create a game, we approach a software provider, and then we plug it into their system, right? Then salaries.
Yes.
Right? Because these people
If you are in startup mode, how many people are you hiring? It sounds like just me and you can run this thing.
No. Support is extremely important. So when I say support, I mean you need to have an always-on call center.
Right.
A call center that receives
But that's scalable.
Yeah, that's scalable. So people need to receive queries, need to resolve them. The biggest query would be two. It's two. Offline, software is offline. Number two would be cash withdrawals, right? So
That they're struggling to withdraw.
yes, they're struggling to withdraw or you need to process the payment.
I'm sure that sends people into a panic.
Oh yeah, literally. Like that someone can go on these days social media and say these people haven't paid me and it's been literally 5 minutes. You understand? So auto processing your payments is very risky because you need to follow a process or channel. There needs to be a float that actively has money for money to leave your software or your platform to go into the banking system for people to withdraw their money.
Okay.
So that's float. That's what we were talking about.
For sure.
Right? Then marketing. Marketing is your biggest cost.
Okay.
Your marketing is, you and I can start it, right? Have fewer employees, but we need to make sure that our marketing is
X seems very friendly to
It is very
ads.
friendly. It's very friendly. It's
Okay.
extremely friendly.
Is that like the hotspot platform for games?
Yeah, X. Okay. X is number one. And then number two is, if you go accordingly and follow due processes, YouTube is number two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where else do you advertise that the average person does not see?
Um,
What's a non-mainstream method of advertising?
I think everything is mainstream these days,
Okay.
right? Like you said, we advertise at games, right? So football games, right? Or tennis games or golf games. Out of home.
Yeah.
So that'll be your billboards. And then you look at digital also. Which is
I'm not saying I consume pirated content, but why is there always like a pirate? So no, so I'm teasing, but in that sort of world,
Yes.
it always seems like there's
The reality is entry to that point is easier.
okay.
And like you said, we're not saying we consume pirated content. However, most people do. And that's where you find the biggest traffic.
Okay.
So marketing is about traffic, especially in our industry. Okay. If you have a platform that has 1 million people and someone else has a platform that has 100,000, we are likely to pay for the one that has 1 million people instead of 100,000.
Okay.
So that's very important. Email marketing is also very important, but Pop here is extremely hard on those things.
Yeah.
Right. SMS campaigns, but once you're on your platform, those are methods that we use to keep people.
Okay.
where you've signed up, you agreed to the popular policy. We'll send you an SMS or an email to say, don't forget, there's a derby this weekend. So-and-so is playing against who, your favorite player, potentially could score a hat trick. You can place a bet on them. That's another factor that people overlook, right? There's different markets that is offered in the industry. It's gone are the days where people place a bet on an outright win for a club to win. You can place a bet on corner kicks, on yellow cards, or who's the first substitute, who's the first person to score.
The variations.
Variations are unlimited. Okay. They are unlimited. You can place literally a bet on the first 5 minutes of your game. You win money and then you are done with the rest of the game. You don't have to watch the 90 minutes or 45 minutes if it's an NBA game or whatever it might be. The markets are unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
I was trying to get you there, but you didn't. The number one visited platforms or websites are adult websites.
Yes.
What percentage of that accounts for advertising from gaming? Because
it's not a lot. It looks like it's a lot.
Got eyeballs.
Yeah, but it's not a lot because it seems like it's a lot. Because remember, when I was doing research and study, there's not a lot of adults websites.
Okay.
Right. So that's why it seems like it's a lot because everyone is there. But let's take
There's not a lot of adult websites.
Yes.
You haven't been exposed to adult websites.
I mean the ones with the big traffic.
Okay.
So let's do a like for like, right? If we're doing a campaign on YouTube, there are millions of podcasts and influencers or channels we can work with. With adult websites, how many can you really say we are working with?
It's not like I know, but...
I'm not saying you know, but I'm saying... That's what I mean when I say this. So there are the popular ones, right? But they're extremely saturated, like you said. And the funny thing is that we were doing research on it, and then we have people that we call affiliates.
Okay.
So affiliates are people that we partner up with that bring traffic to our website. So I would do a campaign, right? I haven't featured yet. I'm not saying I do. I haven't featured. You find your brand featuring on an adult website and you've never paid for that, right? But you have an affiliate that you work with that brings traffic. So that brings people from your platform, but you work directly with that affiliate. That affiliate has countless ways that they get acquisition. So they can do through physical promotions at live events, at games or wherever. And then they also pay for their own traffic through other websites where they get a promo code that people use when they're on that platform. Gotcha. And you get shocked. You're like, someone sends a screenshot, you're like, I've never done anything with those people, but my brand is there. So those are affiliates that you work with that bring traffic to your platform.
Okay. Yeah. So affiliates are a big piece of your marketing pie
they are.
As well.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. But we prefer working directly with client. Client would be your
platforms.
Yeah, Meta, your YouTube, wherever. But affiliates are a very big part of acquisition.
Yeah. Thank you. I probably have like 20 more questions, but you've nailed this to the core. I appreciate the intelligence that you've applied to this conversation. Yeah. Your knowledge base, demonstrates why you've been in the industry for longer than 10 years now.
Yeah, I've been since 2014. Yeah. So I got my first bike, like from the first bite of the bug, 2014.
Yeah. And I can see that. The last thing I want you to do for me is you sort of, throwing it forward for the next person. What's the one idea you've had that you haven't had time to work on?
Oh, brother, you put me on the spot there. Right?
Enrich somebody else.
I think the biggest thing right now, I just want to close off on the betting side, right? Sure. Like you said, you still have about 20 plus questions, right? It's not a one sitting conversation.
Absolutely.
We can relook it into future and remember, this is more high level. Yeah. We take a deep dive into me telling you how much everything literally costs. Like literally from the penny to it costs 250 for this, it costs 700 Rand for this, and we can do that in future. But this was more of a high level conversation where the viewers can also get engaged, in the comment section to say, how does this work? Where do you do this? We can, unpack it deeper and deeper, right? That's in closing from the betting or gambling industry. For me, the involvement would be, I think I've always had a very deep appreciation and intrigue for real estate.
Okay.
Real estate and sports management. Those are two things that I've had a keen interest in.
That's dope.
So I think maybe the next,
There's something I'm religiously forgetting. Sorry, it's one of the questions that
you had.
I hadn't spoken about.
Yeah.
What does AI do to gaming? Because I don't know if you saw.
Yeah.
I think a week or so ago, where GPT-5 was ranked as having really strong predictability skills.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? How is AI going to disrupt gaming?
Twofold. AI has made my life as a marketer easy.
Okay.
It's easy for me to plug and play a marketing campaign, a strategy, and then it rolls out. But you just have to feed it what is it that you want to achieve and reach.
Gotcha.
Right? On the other side, right, me saying AI is bad for us is proving the notion that everything is scripted, of which it's not. Right? So in sports betting, people think you can go to ChatGPT and say, who's going to win the next game and how much should I wager? And then ChatGPT will say, Liverpool is playing Orlando Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs. So
West Ham.
Yeah. Let's use Man City.
Okay.
Right? Man City is going to play Burnley and Man City is going to win the game. Wager your whole house, your wife, your kids, and you're going to win that. And then when it comes Saturday, what happens? Burnley defeats Man City 2-1.
Okay.
Right? So that's to eliminate the factor of people saying I'm using AI to guess predictions. And if I use AI, I'm going to win. Right? It's algorithm. There's nothing set in stone to say there's therefore. No, it doesn't work like that. But in terms of operations, in terms of you can run half a call center, so resolving queries using AI. You can create marketing campaigns, like I said, using AI. Those are key elements that I say AI is making our lives easier and improving them. But on the other side...
So you're at a point where you don't believe that AI can predictively model or guess the outcome better than the human. Because that's all you need to be successful.
So guessing the outcome better than a human potentially is there. Why? Because human beings there's two elements that we use to make a decision. Use our hearts and our mind. Our hearts is emotion. I have a soft spot for this club. I think it's going to win. Not I know it's going to win or it's potentially going to win, but my heart says it's going to win. But your mind said, if you calculate the stats to say for the past 10 games, when they play a game or when they play at 12 midday, the potential of losing are higher. If they're playing in the evening, potential of winning are higher or lower.
Right.
And they've won 70% of their last games against a specific club. So AI just used all the stats and pushed them together, of which if you do that, you can predict the same way an AI-generated tool can do that. But it eliminates the emotional part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you've made it this far, I know it's been I love long form, and if you need to consume this in multiple chunks, please do that. Again, to Bradley's point, share your thoughts, your comments in the comment section. And this is the Winners Win podcast. We out.